Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Save As Ability. Hope you're doing well. Continue to grow the channel here. If you could help us out with a like, subscribe, share, comment, it does help us keep great content flowing for you. And a little bit of a program note, you may have noticed we've gotten so much traffic with our A Button a Day videos. We've spun that off into a new channel. We want to be very observant and respectful of YouTube's community guidelines. So we're not having duplicate content. So you can find all of your button-related material on the Angel Buttons LLC YouTube page. We'll put that down in the description. But we don't want to delay. We've got a great guest today coming to us all the way from the West Coast, Ms. Gwyn LaRee. Gwyn, welcome in.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you, and loyal viewers of Save As Ability will recognize that we've spent and put a great deal of effort into people with disabilities in the entertainment industry, and that's what Gwyn is. Gwyn is an actor. And so we want to talk a little bit about that today. And Gwyn, you've got so many things going on. I've seen some of your sparkle reels and I really like it. And your voiceover work is tremendous. Your voice to me is so appealing and unique, and I really enjoy that. So maybe you can tell our audience a little bit about Gwyn LaRee.
Okay. The voice is courtesy of Marine Corps service back in Desert Storm. I am a Marine Corps veteran with multiple disabilities, and I have been acting professionally now for 13 years. One of the biggest things and one of my big passion projects is the Easterseals Disability Film Challenge, which is an annual event. We just finished the 12th year, and we had 123 teams from around the world submit films. What makes this challenge different from all the other, 48 Hours and Horror Fest and all those, is every film in the Disability Film Challenge has to include at least one actor, creator with a disability, either in front of or behind the camera. And so this year I got to be in two of them. My flagship was called Flagged, and I got to play, finally, Gunnery Sergeant Jean Haig in a dystopian future where the AI computer does not like us. And then I also worked on another one called Karma and Justice, just a little bleep, cameo role. But both of those had multiple people in front of and behind the camera. And for Flagged, like 80% of our cast and crew are actually neurodivergent. And so having that attention to detail, having that strong work ethic makes both my actor heart happy. It also makes my Marine Corps heart happy.
Well, that's great. And bringing authentic lived experience to the role, I think really helps too. And first, let's just go back for a second. I want to thank you for your service to our country, number one, but also for identifying your disability. I mean, I think that really helps actors and actresses coming up to see role models, to see that, wait a minute, I can succeed. And so many great actors we know have had careers prior to acting. So it's great to see that you could come from that military background and really then also have success as an actor.
Oh, and it's a perfect fit. When you're in the military, everything is built on teamwork. You do everything with your team. And when people separate from the military, that's something you don't see in the civilian world so much. So I found team on some of these film sets and television sets because it's that same idea. Everybody is laser focused on achieving the mission, on making this wonderful product, telling our stories, and like you said, telling them authentically. So I've been really open throughout my entire career about my disabilities. I spent 2 years in a wheelchair. I've got neuropathy. I wear hearing aids. I'm kind of a mess, but people like me as a mess.
You're our kind of mess, Gwyn. We like that. And I think when you encounter people, though, that may not have as apparent of a disability upon, meeting them or something, right? I think the data, it's hard to measure, but somewhere around 30% or maybe as high as 50% of all people with disabilities have like a non-apparent disability. So again, to have somebody like you who've served and, really is active and, has now this other artistic, creative side, I think that really builds value out for people. But I do want to go particularly into the Easterseals challenge here because I did some research. You sent me some links. I looked at your stuff. And this is really high quality content. And I think it speaks very well for people with disabilities. And like, we're making it more and more challenging for the entertainment industry to say no, because the old thing for producers and directors was, well, we just don't have the talent, or then it was, they don't have the experience. That's now increasing, and those excuses are kind of vaporizing.
Oh yeah. The crazy stance that actors with disabilities aren't trained is ridiculous. One of my dear friends, Eileen Gruba, has been in this industry for 35 years. And she speaks regularly at SAG-AFTRA, at the Producers Guild, at the Directors Guild. And all we're saying is, we are here. We have the talent. If you're not finding us, it's only because you're not looking.
There you go. I think that's true. And, and it's all facets. And, much of entertainment to me is like an iceberg, where a lot of it is beneath the surface, but behind the scenes, running the camera, running the crew, running, all the things you got to do to just get ready to say action. And then only about 10 or 20% of that gets seen in front of the camera. So, yeah. I think it's a good thing. So I appreciate what you're doing. And then relative to veterans, we've done some veterans issues in the past. We're working on getting some more veterans on. Tell us a little bit about that and what that is like in terms of, you mentioned the teamwork, but what from your life experience does that bring directly now into your entertainment?
Oh, one of the most interesting parallels I have found between the military and the disabled community. One of the Marine Corps mottos is improvise, adapt, and overcome. We're really good at it.
Yeah, people with disabilities are natural born problem solvers. And yeah, I suppose if you got to do that in the Marines, then that's probably a good qualification.
Oh, it's like the perfect setup. And coming into the disabled community and finding that willingness to think outside the box, to find a new way to do things. One of my friends is a writer, and they found a good location to shoot an expansion of his award. Well, he won the Easterseals Disability Film Challenge last year with a project called Call the ADA. And as part of winning, he got extra grants to expand the series. So they've been working on that for the last year. And one of the locations they found to film in, he could not get into with his wheelchair. So he put the word out to the community, to the Disability Film Challenge family. He ended up with 4 sets of ramps saying, where do you want him? We got him. Let's get him in there. You got work to do. Get to work.
That's excellent. Everybody pulled together. Well, let's talk just a little bit here about where people can see you and your stuff and how they can vote on these films. And, let's activate the community to be able to support you and these films.
Wonderful. The Easterseals Disability Film Challenge has both a website. They've got a very active YouTube channel. All of the films that are entered are listed on that channel. So you can spend hours watching wonderful content. This year, our theme was thriller and suspense. If you go back into former years, last year was buddy comedy. They've had romance, all of the genres that are in the media and entertainment industry are on that channel. Usually around February of each year is when our fearless leader, Nick Novicki, will announce this year's theme. And then we always film the first week of April. We have 5 days to write, shoot, do all the post-production, and get it posted to YouTube.
Wow, that's an aggressive timetable.
It's challenging. And on April 1st is when we get, if there's a certain line we have to include, or if there's props that we need, or a certain location. So, yes, we are hoofing it, but all of it's there. And the other great thing about the Film Challenge is they offer workshops year-round. They've worked with writers, directors. Sony Pictures is a huge sponsor. That's where we hold the awards ceremony every year. Sony also hosts our Disability Loop Group. So that's all people, whenever you watch a film and there's chatter in the background, that's done by a loop group.
Good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Sony Pictures is supportive. That's good to know also.
Oh, Sony, Disney, Intel, SAG-AFTRA, there's a whole screen, and I apologize deeply. I don't remember all of our wonderful sponsors.
No, if you can get them to us, we'll put them in the description. We want to support the community as we've done in the past, and we'll continue to do so. All right, Gwyn, as we begin to wrap up, how can people get in touch with you and learn more about your great productions and the great work you're doing?
I am on all the social media platforms, just as @Gwyn LaRee. And I also have a YouTube channel. I did a series for a while called Mama Gwen, which is all my redneck common sense. You got this. You can do this. Take care of yourself. Be nice to yourself. And those were a lot of fun. I've also been doing some theater work, and that is being promoted now through the Grief Dialogues. And what else do we have going? I think that's it for the moment, but I'm an actor, so there's always something new around.
All right, great. Well, get us that information. We'll put it in the description, and we appreciate having you on, Gwyn. Any last final comments here?
Listen to our stories. No one can tell the stories of the disabled community like those of us living with disabilities, whether you can see them or not. And everyone's going to end up disabled. So wouldn't you like to have a little bit of knowledge going into it that you really can deal with it? Life is worth living, even with disabilities.
Thank you for that, Gwyn. It reinforces our point that we say here all the time, that we're all in various states of ability. And so, yeah, I appreciate you and your talent and what you're doing for the community. Wish you well in the film festival and with future roles. Hopefully we'll see you on some big productions sometime soon, and we'll be sure to put all that other information so people can check you out. So we want to thank Gwyn LaRee and everybody else for watching. Again, please help us continue to grow. If you could like, subscribe, share, comment, that really does help us out. And it's David Darkangelo, another episode of Save Visibility. I hope you have a great day.
For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, our YouTube channel @Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David Darkangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.